Blessings and welcome to another episode of Heart on Radio. I'm your host, Shauna Ava, and I am thrilled to be here with the lovely, incredible Isabella Greene. Thank you so much for joining us again. We're going to be talking about a topic that can be a little hairy. It's a little sensitive. But I'm passionate about it because I've dealt with it firsthand, and I know it's coming up for you in your work a lot, and I feel that it's something really important that we discuss. So before we get in any more deep tissue, let's just take a few breaths to center ourselves and connect with each other and source and create a beautiful, high balanced grid to co-create and discuss.
All right. Connecting to my station as we speak.
So lovely.
All right, opening up that sacred space for a very special discussion today.
Absolutely, yeah. So, Isabella, I suppose what we'll start with, in case people aren't familiar with your work, is just a little bit about what your work is at this point. Because I know it's developed, there's new skills coming in all the time, very exciting. So give us a little bit about that.
As you just said, the work is changing daily. So I can just give a general overview of what's happening right now.
Okay.
I recently had a really strong interaction with my higher self, and the higher self mentioned that there are going to be new gifts that are going to be coming online for me. It took me about 3 weeks to anchor that, and all of a sudden the sessions are not exactly like they used to be. Meaning the sessions have expanded. I do soul readings where I help people to make sense of their soul journeys, and that was my main work before this upgrade took place. Now, when I do soul readings, I also am able to find attachments, entities, beings, auric attachments, all different types of energetic forms that sometimes reside within human beings.
Okay.
And I also help them to transition out of human bodies, out of human energy fields into the light, or wherever they like to go. We facilitate that for them. So the healing takes place not only for the client, the human that comes to me for work, but also for all of the beings involved.
Okay, that's interesting.
And then another thing just started happening, and that's by agreement, that the teams, the multidimensional teams, and I've experienced so far cosmic teams speaking through me when the client is seeking a message directly from their cosmic lineage. And that is quickly becoming a part of the sessions too, which just happened once, twice, and now it's kind of like, okay, so can we connect and get the message? When the person is really ready for that, then it comes through. So the sessions are very complex nowadays.
And they were already to begin with, if you ask me.
Right.
Very multi-dimensional, powerful past life stuff. So the fact that more is coming in, and was it something that you intended, or these gifts started to come through and you're like, what is this?
I never thought. I used to refer people to do entity work before they worked with me.
Because I didn't refer out. It wasn't,
it wasn't my thing. I didn't want to do that kind of work. But the higher self very clearly, because one of my questions was in the session that I took to interact with the my own higher self, the higher self said, my question was, what are my powers? What else do I need to know? What else is coming online?
Okay.
And the answer was, well, a whole lot more. And I said,
Hold
could you, right. I was like, well, wait a second, could you specify a little? I wanted, like, my 3D little human wants to get ready here. And the higher self just said, it's going to be revealed as you go along. And so yes, 3 weeks I was flat on my back, restructuring my whole state of being, restructuring, and then all of a sudden the sessions started kind of guiding themselves in a whole different way.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so now it's on my website. Now it's in writing. Yeah, I do entity removal. It's quantum healing modality. Same like Alba Weinman does through hypnosis, but I don't put people under. I don't like to decapacitate the client and have the entities talk through the client. I just allow or assist the clients to relax, and once they relax, I am the one who is doing that communication. I am the one who is interacting with them, assisting them to move on, and doing the healing all the way through to as far as I can reach telepathically from my higher self space.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
All right, did you get all that? We'll be quizzing you later. No.
Yeah, this is the next level stuff for me for sure.
Yeah.
And the guidance that's coming through is so strong. The guidance of creating the new paradigm healing modality, the new paradigm approach to how we handle things.
Yeah. And that makes sense because we're moving into a new paradigm. I mean, it's already here. I don't even like to say moving into it. We're catching up with what is around us. We're finally able to perceive. So what we're going to be focusing on today is this entity, attachment, beings, etc. And I feel really sensitive about this topic because Isa and I have discussed that it is something that usually will have a really scary, negative spin to it, and there's a lot of fear that goes into it. And to be honest, most people are dealing with it and have no idea what's really going on, and it will actually perhaps explain a lot of these things. So let's start with square one here, perhaps, and in your words, just explain what an entity is.
And also, as you were speaking, I experienced that feeling like, ooh, the feeling of kind of fear, the feeling of like being invaded, the feeling of being invaded against your will, something like that.
Something having power over you in some way.
Yeah. But the truth is, it's
those squirts. It's gonna take a little bath. Okay, I feel better.
Did you put that on my head? No, that one.
Oh, the selenite. This big, anyway.
The truth is that these are just souls and beings of different types that are just being themselves. You don't go judging a lion for eating a lamb, for example.
No.
It's just natural, right?
Yes.
The lion hunts a gazelle, and that's a natural order of things.
Yeah.
We don't go judging, I don't know, a mosquito for wanting your blood. It's not pleasant, it's not nice, it's annoying to us, right? But it's just what they do, right? And the same with the entities too.
Okay.
I don't know who is counting, but I heard, honestly, but I heard the number of 70 billion souls that are non-human.
Wow.
That are interested in having a human experience on Earth. Apparently, this is a really fun ride.
Where did you? Woo! I'm enjoying it.
Right? And so they, one way or another, find their way into the human beings.
Okay.
And they live there. And they doing their things. They could be contributing to the human beings' distress. They can be contributing to the human beings' physical conditions, but they're just doing their thing. They live in, and because they're present in your energy field, and because they're present in your body, that creates distress in the whole human system. And then they're also disincarnates. But disincarnates,
slightly different.
They're Earth people who passed on, but were terrified to go anywhere because they were raised to believe that they were going to go to hell. This is very common. Or because they were raised to believe that they were not going to go anywhere at all. And so they see like in the atheist belief or scientific belief, oh, you die, that's it, game over, right? But Here, they're so scared. They're seeing that opportunity or the light or whatever. They're very often not even getting to seeing the light, but they just take the next available body that's next to them. Around the hospital or around, I don't know, when the car crashed and someone died in the car crash and someone stopped to help them, whoop, that soul just went in.
Right.
You know, because it's a sudden, unexpected, fearful death. If a person believes he's not going anywhere,
right,
then he's not.
And
if a person,
war, I would imagine war situations so abrupt, because I know you mentioned that in your videos, and you just, I really recommend that everybody follows Isa. She does these incredible 10 to 15 minute bite-sized videos of your experiences through your
of
work.
the sessions. These are called whoa, under pressure. Soul stream sessions. I record the most outstanding experiences that I have in the sessions, and I talk about them. And that's usually on my YouTube channel, Isabella Greene, on Thursdays, more or less.
Hey, you're good.
Every week.
Consistency.
Every week.
That's nice.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate that. But no, I do encourage everyone to check that out, because when you were talking about this topic, you touched on it a bit. War and a lot of people involved in the armed services came up as susceptible to entity attachment. So I guess let's talk about the why now, or factors that make you more susceptible to entities. So we kind of understand now that entities are, is it fair to say, interdimensional beings, energy forms?
Right. Some energy forms need nourishment.
Yes.
And we call them reptilians, and I don't want to create a more negative rap on reptilians. Reptilians are just doing what they're born and made to do. Exactly. And sometimes they find the nice ground for feeding for themselves, and they attach. And then when they attach, they create the big opening through which other beings can come in. But then there are also elementals, which very often don't have any form. It's just like a ball of energy. There are also thought forms.
Yes.
There are also self-created thought forms and self-created blockages that take the life of their own as an energy form. And when you generate the same thought over and over and over and over long enough, then it starts living in your body.
Yeah.
And it finds like a spot where it's most related, like anger, for example, or likes to live in the liver.
Interesting.
Right?
Why? Do we know why?
Because liver is the cleansing. The cleansing. And sometimes when I look at that in the sessions, I look at the person's liver, and it really literally looks bright, inflamed red. And the person would tell me, "Oh, I've always had the temper problem." Yeah, you created that thing as a thought form.
Yeah.
So they're self-created. They come from other dimensions. They come from lower dimensions, and well, I don't think higher dimensions need us to feed on. I'm yet to see like an Arcturian entity. That doesn't happen.
Or an archangel coming.
I got an archangel.
That'd be nice. I'm inviting Archangel Michael to come hang out with you.
Right. But these would be guides, sometimes walk-ins, like a higher expression of the same phenomenon, where the human body is ready, the frequency is high enough, and the human body can be used or utilized to anchor a specific mission. So these are benevolent beings. The general variety of entities we're talking about here, they're not necessarily benevolent to the human beings, although they are just being themselves, pretty much.
Right.
And then there's the disincarnate category too.
Okay.
So you asked me the question about why or who is more susceptible to receiving these?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, my understanding is, and my observation is, there are a few common states of being and a few common locations even, or situations where you can receive something like that.
Wow. Would you say overall that if you're the higher the frequency, the less susceptible? Yeah. So when the person is deep in suffering, and very often, the entities come in early in childhood. When, let's say, oh, I was such a bright, happy child, what happened to me?
right? Very often that child was in the hospital, was sick, or was in distress, was feeling lonely, and that's when like a non-terrestrial, which is called non-human attachment, found a way in, because very often they think that they're doing you a service, they're going to keep you company, they're going to be your imaginary friends, you know. Or,
so from their perspective, you're saying that in your experience, it seems that they, I mean, again, they're just doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
And to them, it's like they're...
Very often they believe that they're helping a person. So being super lonely opens the door, because they come in, they're like, I'll keep you company.
Yeah.
I'll be there for you.
Yeah.
That, also being in high distress, emotional trauma, sexual abuse for sure, exposure to the military, and I'm not going to go into this, but it's almost like they're bred there, and that is kind of facilitated.
Okay.
So, but that's all I'm gonna say about that here, for the sake of our video staying online.
Exactly. If you still want to see more of us,
right.
We'll keep that in the jar.
Just take a note.
Yeah.
And then once the main one came in, like your imaginary black lizard friend, for example, right?
Yeah.
Came in through the sister who went to the military and picked it up over there, and now it's like sharing itself with the rest of the family, or with someone who is the closest to the family. Also transferred through partnership and through sexual activity that is not in the highest good for the person, that is not rooted in the love and the heart, higher chakras, right? Sexual activity that makes people feel super unhappy, miserable, or it's basically it's not in alignment with the highest good of the person, so that happens too. And so when the first one comes in, sometimes they come in the childhood, because the person is lonely, the kid is lonely, or the kid has a lot of bright light, and that thing is like, oh yeah.
So they're attracted to the light. So, well, that's just, it is what it is. We want the sun every day, right? We're attracted to the light, so we can't, again, blame them for that. They're looking for light, but the way that they can come in and connect and stick onto your field is through lower fear-based
fear,
pain.
Fear, anger, pain, loneliness is a
that's
dull
so
opener.
interesting. Loneliness.
Yes,
I mean, there is a certain despair that comes with loneliness.
Exactly.
But I guess I would have never thought about that, and it's connecting the dots for me with situations where kids are like, there's a monster under my bed, or it is almost like the fears that start to come into their mind from, you know, maybe scary movies or things going on in school, and then it starts to breathe life into.
Or because the child, let's say, watched a horror movie or scary movie or something scared the child, and the child is in their room, and what they're seeing is real. That thing is just waiting for another moment when the child is terrified to come in. But then once that comes in childhood, very often, teenage, anytime, but let's just say we're now taking scenario, it came in the childhood, and the kid turned from being a super bright light, I don't know, Arcturian, Pleiadian starseed, all of a sudden the light all out, and it's constant suffering, then the medical condition comes in, because they need to go to the hospital, they need to suffer. It kind of keeps the body, it does not allow the body to fully recover, but it doesn't allow the body to die either, because they're interested in keeping the body alive.
Right, because that's how it feeds.
Right. But then as they go to the hospital or to the medical facilities, they very often pick up disincarnates too. Because let's say in the medical facility, someone is having surgery, and next door a person died from, I don't know, during surgery, from some sort of a medical issue or condition. So that soul, if that soul is scared to move on, is going to look for the next body. Very often they like that young body. Oh my God, you know, if it's an old lady, for example, and she died, and there is this beautiful young girl right there, oh, let me go. But if that person, that old lady, was lonely, scared, or had specific
belief
system that starts kind of talking inside that other person, meaning that person would wake up after surgery and say, you know, I used to like this, but now I can stand it. I used to, and it would like generate blocks in a person. But very often also, it would transition the physical pain that the person died from onto the next body. And so all of a sudden that new host who is carrying that attachment is having very similar or developing the same kind of condition that the previous one died from.
Incredible. And that's where I have an interesting question that came up for me, because you did speak a lot about being in hospitals, and again, and I've heard that on other videos, other light workers too, they say the same thing. And unfortunately, that's a scenario where my heart's going out to doctors and nurses all over, because I'm thinking how much they must need to transmute. But my tricky question here is then, what about when there's a newborn baby, there's a new life happening in one room, and then this is going on in a neighboring part of the hospital? Does that ever cross wires?
Because I have never worked with a newborn baby.
Oh, that's true, right?
So I can't really answer that question.
I'm thinking of baptisms. It's like in the church, they go and they dunk and they clear these sins that, to me, I thought this precious newborn has no sins to them. But that's
well, that kind of makes sense, because potentially the idea might be that they are clearing the karmic flow, right?
Interesting, yeah.
But then are they clearing the positive karmic flow, the negative karmic flow?
Right.
Or are they contributing to amnesia of the baby? Like, what's going on there? But I don't know enough about babies to talk about this.
You haven't had any sessions with 6 month olds? Yeah.
Not like newborns. I haven't.
No. Yeah, no, obviously. So, you know, and the reason I wanted to talk about this is because it's something that I directly experience. And again, it seems like, first of all, entities can come in through your own sort of energetic issues, and then they can hop from host to host. So they can also come in through relationships, people that you're living with, and again, working in or being in areas like hospitals and huge, huge places with a large number of people.
And also when you're sharing living space, when you, the Buddhists say to not sleep under the same roof for longer than 3 nights with someone who is not of the same frequency as yourself.
Okay.
Or doesn't follow the same spiritual practice as yourself, which basically puts them on the same frequency as yourself. Right. So when you are sharing living space with someone who carries, then they transfer as well in that way.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically sharing the living space with someone, and then they also, sometimes they're hired, you know, because there is the dark force that not only produces them, but also sends them out on different missions and different tasks. Right. And also all of the old school magic, the spells, even the psychic attacks can open you up. Yeah. You know, when there is something coming into the energy field and is blasting through by purpose, with someone's intentionally, then the entities come through, and they literally are like troops for hire. I've experienced that. I've seen that. Wow. And sometimes they hang around your energy field, and I just, because if you're strong, they hang around the energy field like that thing under the bed, and they're waiting for an opportunity to come in.
Picturing like you're like a hot club yourself. You know, you got your aura bright, and everyone's like, "Oh, I want to get in the club, man. I want to get in the club." They're outside just like dancing. They're like, "Let me get in."
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. They're kind of like watching you. You know, they're waiting for an opportunity when you drop your frequency, and bam, they come in.
Yes.
Also, when the person is super tired, when you're so tired that you cannot see straight, you know, when you're exhausted from traveling, or you're just barely, or you worked so much that you're barely keeping your eyes open.
Yep.
That makes you, because your resources are down.
Yes.
Also crying. I heard
what if
that
they're tears of joy?
Tears of joy
Joy's
work.
okay.
Yes, yeah. But they crying from the place of desperation or deep misery, deep suffering. I heard that from the person who I used to go to check my energy field, because I always want to make sure that when I work with people that I'm completely clear, that I'm not transferring anything anywhere.
Right.
So she told me that 15 minutes, and she's a professional, the only thing she does is that, it's just like energy,
Wow.
clearing entities.
Incredible. Okay.
So she said that 15 minutes of crying continuously from a place of deepest misery, distress, opens up your field.
Wow.
15 minutes, that's it. And sometimes, people would cry for days.
Yes. Well, so what do you do? I mean, to me, I feel such a release sometimes. Like I need, how do you move that energy? Needs to be moving, because I know stagnancy is also something that gives them an entryway.
Yeah.
So what would you recommend?
Well, set a timer, 15 minutes. Time is up. No more crying.
14 minutes and 59 seconds. Then cut it off.
Right.
No, you're right though. I don't think it lasts more than 15 minutes.
Yes. You just kind of,
let it out, and then start breathing and meditating.
Also create or figure out a creative way to release that emotion.
Go to the gym.
Go to the gym. Go to kickboxing class.
Yes.
Go dance.
Dance. That's our favorite.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Walk on earth, but when you walk on earth, it's kind of a mellow thing. So if you need to release something that requires intense crying, kickboxing class is probably more, or even like a punching bag. I don't know if you ladies would be into that, but something that productively releases
energy
out and gone. And as soon as you feel that process is over, then immediately focus on the new, immediately focus on this, like choosing to polarize, shortening the refractory period of the lower denomination emotion.
Okay.
So you allow yourself to release that 15 minutes, 20 minutes a day. And, a day of thinking about it, for example, if you have to. Right. But constantly choosing to look to, what was the gift in that experience? Yes. How am I polarizing into the positive way? Make yourself laugh, watch a comedy, do something pleasant for yourself to raise that frequency so you don't stay in the lower frequency. That is the most important thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even if you had something happen, we have to remember that it's not what's going on. It's how we respond to it. How we choose, how long we choose to talk about it and focus on it and discuss it and cry about it and feel awful about it and then get sick about it and then go to hospital about it and get a bunch of entities and then call me. To clear it all for you.
I know. And I really, it's so interesting because I really dealt with this in my youth, and thank heaven I finally learned about what was really going on with me. And I even had to a point where I remember being in the mirror or just in general feeling eyes looking back at me. I didn't feel alone. I felt like I always had things around me. They were whispering interesting stuff that I was like, what? But I don't
it's not, from what I've experienced, it's not, I've heard through the sessions, it's not really the voices, but it's more like a feeling.
It is, like a nudge, like just a nudge feeling. Of like, where's that?
Right, yes. I worked recently with someone who said that he knows very well the sound of his higher self. The first, like that, they say that the first feeling is always right. So the first feeling will be like, oh, great, go left, right? And then immediately overlapping that, there'll be that other feeling that feels like trickery. But like, no, go right. And so he reached out to me like, what is this? Who is there talking? Because I don't like that second voice. It doesn't feel true to me, and every time it led me in the wrong direction. Or every time I listened to it, I found out that it was not a benevolent suggestion for me, for my highest good. He had something there trying to counteract the original communication with the higher self.
Okay. So let's talk about symptoms where someone perhaps, what are symptoms that you have an entity attack? You got someone riding on your energy.
These are different in every case.
Okay.
Some people have a whole array of beings in them, and so there'll be a whole array of symptoms.
Okay.
The most extreme would be in extreme physical conditions.
Okay.
That would be the most extreme symptom.
So, repetitive pain, chronic pain.
Yes. Repetitive chronic pain.
Depression, I think, would fall into that category.
Absolutely.
Too. Yeah. Okay.
Repetitive pain that the person has to keep seeking medical attention for. Over and over and over, and more surgery, and they get more messed up and more messed up.
And that brings me to pharmaceuticals, because I've definitely heard that is something that opens your auric field and allows things to come in and attach. So it is like this perfect storm.
Absolutely. It's everything that we take that drops our frequency. Everything that we take that's toxic or poisonous to the human body.
Sugar. I've even heard that if you're really craving that constantly, that's also can be an indicator.
Yeah, there's some parasites there. Craving the nourishment, the sugar nourishment.
Yep.
Yeah. So that. Where were we just? The all of the substances, alcohol. Excessive alcohol for sure, because when you are out and you're not controlling your behavior, what's controlling your behavior? You know, when that person is walking around and doing like whatever, that is the biggest door opener for sure.
It's called spirit initially, right?
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
because that's part of the agreement with the night and light is that the night has to be out in plain sight in a way. So it's funny how it is when you pay attention. But yes. I'm sorry, drinking, you're saying?
Yeah, pharmaceuticals, drugs, alcohol. Even I wouldn't even think that food that is not really food, that's poisonous. Anything that's poisonous and drops your frequency. Anything that damages your field from within, meaning your frequency drops, you can't hold the field.
Right.
You know, so that makes you susceptible. And then the state of being, for sure.
Okay.
Depression, loneliness, fear, sadness, suffering, all of that is one system that kind of works all together. And I always wonder, because it's so common, I always wonder if it's an agreement on some level, you know, that the humans are here to facilitate experiences for other beings on Earth.
I love that aspect, actually. I love that take on it, because truly, and I want to reiterate that this experience here really is for learning.
Yeah.
So, you know, you want everything, it's something I really had to power through. You want everything to be sunshine and roses and rainbows, but the only way that we continue to learn and expand and evolve is by having that push and pull of night and light. And so again, you know, too, we have creatures on this planet that we know of, that we can see in the physical, leeches, parasites, things that exist. Yeah. And you can't blame them for existing the only way they know how, which is to...
Yeah. They gotta eat something. They all gotta eat something. Right? But I have discovered reptilian heaven.
Yes, I know. I'm so glad you brought this up.
So good. Yeah, this is next level.
Yes, this is a doozy. So I'm glad you brought this up, because this is where Isabella's work got really interesting and really brilliant, and I've never heard of it anywhere else. So I think it's unbelievable. But I guess I'll let you reveal your gift here. But also, it sounds like most healers or practitioners, etc. They get an entity and they just kind of explode it, push it off. I don't know. Slay it. Whereas you have found this sort of reptilian heaven, as you're calling it, and she's able to now really help these beings, not only help your field by clearing them off, but help crossing these beings over into a place that is much more beneficial and happier for them too.
Then make sure they don't come back. Because they're happy. we don't really, it's not really possible to kill anything. It just changes.
Exactly.
Changes
form. Energy it cannot be.
Yeah.
It cannot find its demise. It just
and so if let's take an entity died by through someone's work, it was blown up or slayed or what have you, it just transitioned into something else. And so what's keeping it from changing that form and coming right back into someone else? Because that's all they know, because that's what they were either created for, or that's what their nature is, right? But it's not me who really came up with that. It was when I was under hypnosis, quantum healing hypnosis session, and I also listened to Alba Weinman's recordings prior to that. But when I was under that in that hypnosis session, the higher self, my higher self that works through me here, it came online and it showed me how to do that work. So and Alba doesn't quite do exactly the same thing, because my higher self came in and said, you're going to find the place that each entity is happy to go to. Not only we're going to find the pilot light inside them, because every being has a little bit of light in them. It's natural.
Yes.
Everything is in balance.
Yes.
So even the beings of darkness have a little pilot light of light, and that could be expanded. So we're going to help them expand. We're going to offer them a chance to transition, to transform from the being of the darkness into the being of the light.
Yay.
So far, I have not had anyone refuse. So far, they're really happy. So far, they're I'm observing them, they're kind of like, they want to evolve too.
Yeah.
And they want to be in a habitat where they're comfortable. You blame them? We all do, right? And very often they want to get out of Earth as well, like many of us do too. And very often they agree, because they're kind of like for hire sometimes, so yeah, especially
need an entity, here's my card.
Right, exactly, right. Yes, especially if they came through, facilitated ways, like the ways where they were facilitated into something.
Right.
So they're like beings for hire, and sometimes like, I've been here for 20 years.
Oh gosh.
Following this person, I can deal with this. Like, get me
change
out
the
of here.
channel.
Right, get me out of here. So they're very happy. So first we find the pilot light. We offer them an opportunity. I'm able to communicate with them without having to put the client under hypnosis, because it's the same exact communication as I'm doing with aspects of people's soul streams, or with their direct human experience. That's in the case of disincarnates. It's the same exact thing. I can hear them telepathically, and I can locate them, find them in the body or in the energy field, and interact with them, communicate with them. They're non-physical, so it's all telepathic.
Yeah.
So then I offer them an opportunity to transition or transfer into the light, and they do that. Like, we expand the pilot light, and then I treat them with respect. So I ask them, okay, look, where would you like to go? We're inviting you to come out of this physical form, because it's time, and because I said so. Well, you have to hold that authority.
Yeah, absolutely.
When you're doing that work, I have my entire higher self plugged in there. I have Archangel Michael for the disincarnates to escort them. I ask the disincarnates if they want to reincarnate on Earth or not. I worked with someone who said, please don't bring me back onto Earth. It was a disincarnate soldier who died tragically, and he said, please don't bring me back on Earth. I am a Pleiadian starseed. I want to go back home. I'm so not happy with being here. So instead of escorting him to the tunnel of light, where they encounter that layer where they have to they meet their relatives, and they meet the angelics, and then next thing you know, they're back on Earth, right? So instead of escorting him here, I actually transitioned with him, or traveled with him through that space past that layer, and so that we made sure that he was able to move into that Pleiadian reality. Okay, that's one. Next thing about reptilian heaven. It was actually one of the oldest entities, the very first one I worked with.
Really?
Who showed me. Because I asked him, I said, okay, man, what am I gonna do with it? It's like this gigantic black lizard that completely filled up like every crevice of that person's body with black energy. And so that person is in so much physical pain. It was incredible.
Wow.
But I ushered that thing out, and here it is, and I'm talking to him, and I said, okay, so what now? We want, like, you want to get out of here? Yes, I do. Where would you like to go? And he said, there's a place I would like to go. Could you like assist me? So he showed me that place. And it's a space where I've observed that these types of reptilian beings can retire, and they can also have nourishment. It's warm, it's lush, and it's beautiful. And the minute they land on that space, they turn completely white. They turn into that, there's like that crystalline sand-like, well, of course it's my brain translating that, but there is that crystalline sand-like covering to that planet. It looked like a planet to me, and the minute they land onto that sand, their whole body turns crystalline.
Wow.
And they just literally turn color, and they're very happy. I've observed that as soon as now I kind of share that with these beings, and I encounter these beings, I say, okay, you know what, I got a place for you, you're gonna like.
Yeah.
How about a beach vacation?
Beach resort, yeah.
Beach resort vacation for the rest of your life, all inclusive.
It almost sounds like light fractals, like they're just absolute light fractals of.
The wild thing is that I started seeing that sand.
Yes.
A while ago, before I even had this experience, before I even found that location, but I just started seeing that location first,
Yes.
and then of course, you know, everything makes sense eventually.
Then, well, yeah, because I think we were sitting in, was it Black Panther?
Yeah.
That all of a sudden Isa sees exactly what she had been seeing in these experiences, and she was like, that's the sand, that's the crystal sand.
Except in Black Panther, it's dark color, and I think it's black and gold or something. During the titles, you know, everything just like moves within that sand.
Yeah.
But what I'm experiencing, first of all, I've seen that prior to that movie, and then I saw it in the movie going like, oh, it's very much, it's like
Very similar, yeah.
similar, but it's actually bright white color,
Bright white
like
color.
selenite type of thing, like selenite, like translucent, transparent white light color. Gorgeous.
That sounds beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't think I want to retire on that planet.
Not exactly,
myself,
but-
but it is, and that's the place where these gigantic black nasty beings are very happy to go to. And by the way, when you talk to them from the place of respect, and I summon them, and I say, all right, here I am, and we're offering you some options, they respond in a very neutral manner. I have not had any trying to attack me, or I literally would observe that they would just like be there completely emotionless and just saying, yeah, I want to get out of here, you know, like you talk to them. That's the reptilian thing. So there's no aggression here, there's no fighting, there's no killing them, there's no slaying them. I communicate with them, I negotiate with them, they accept, and off they go, and the person is released. And with the disincarnates, most of the disincarnates are very happy to get out, because they're really sad people that died.
Yeah.
So we find their bodies. We go back in time and we find their bodies, what the bodies died from. We clean and clear the entire timeline. We clean and clear, and we heal the body so that the body can be transitioned in a different way than it died. So we clear that entire timeline. Then we take that disincarnate and we ask them whether they want to reincarnate. come back to Earth, and some do. Some say, yeah, I'd love to be a boy again. I just worked with someone who was like, yeah, I want to be a boy again. Well, yeah, I want to come back as a...
I never did get the girl. I want another try.
Yeah, I want to be a little girl. And then they're also happy because in that layer where they are negotiating their incarnation back onto Earth, that's where they get to experience, I don't know if they're real, but they get to experience their relatives. Like I found this woman who lived in someone's lower body, like the legs and the hips, and that woman died. She was in a wheelchair. The client that came to me picked that up when she was 16, when she worked at a nursing home. That disincarnate, that woman died in the nursing home, and she died after two of her children were killed. Both of her children were killed in a car accident.
Oh my gosh, so much trauma there.
Yeah. And so she transitioned into this happy young girl's body. She created a lot of difficulty in the lower parts, like pain in the legs, pain in the lower back. Like she said she felt like she was pinned to a board, like from the lower, her lower body and down. And that's because the other one was in the wheelchair, couldn't move these parts, right? So, but when I found the disincarnate, they're still sad, they're still crying.
Yeah.
The client said that she was experiencing those moments of incredible sadness that she didn't know where it came from, incredible loneliness that she didn't know where it came from, all that disincarnate affecting her. And so when she moved, she said, yeah, I want to come back, I want to reincarnate here again. When she moved, she was greeted by those two children that she was missing in her old years, and so she was very happy. It was like very nice to see that Archangel Michael taking her to the light. She's like, yeah, let's go back to Earth. Here are my children. The reunion is beautiful. The client is the lady is healed. We took care of her body in that previous timeline, and the client is released from all that.
It's so incredible, Isa, because you're like casually correcting timelines on different dimensions. Like it's incredible, and I love that this feels empowering to me. Now I'm like, let's talk about entities, because it feels empowering for them and for us.
Yeah.
So, because there is that, I always thought about this too. There's the oneness aspect, and we all are from original source energy, whatever name you want to give that. And so, there is that bit of spark of light in them, in these creatures, in all creatures. And so we are one. I want the highest good of all.
And thank you very much for that, because we're moving as a collective, as the humans. We want to join. We want to join the higher dimensions.
Yes.
We're moving into the new earth. We're moving into the new state of being as the new human. And a part of that is a more balanced approach to things. All of this warlike, fight it, slay it, kill it, blow it up.
Them, us.
Yes.
Yeah, right?
All of that is old energy. That's old paradigm. What can you offer them that they would accept so that everyone wins?
Yes.
These beings are powerful. I talk to them while I'm doing that work. That big one that showed me the reptilian heaven. I said, okay, you're here by yourself? No, he's like, I got this, I got this one, I got that one in there, and they're linked. And so he actually assisted me from that space. He assisted me to find out there isn't kind of work. You can ask them to assist you, and they will. And they're very happy to do that. And they're doing it from a very neutral state of being. And I think that when we work with these things, we have to also be in the neutral, non-judgmental state, so that we can facilitate the work that does not carry that charge.
That old paradigm charge.
The hatred, the victim, the oh, poor me.
Right, the perpetrator, the victim.
Yes.
All that old stuff, exactly.
Yeah.
And they, as a species, I mean, we're also focused on this ascension, this awakening. I'm sure their species wants to evolve as well. Yeah. I mean, we're all going through this.
Everything is evolving. Every part is evolving. And so I downloaded that through my interaction with the higher self. The higher self said, and I experienced myself as that being, as the higher self.
Wow.
Completely neutral, no judgment. Any work comes in, you do the best you can to transition it into the light, polarize it positively, offer it a different job,
Right.
a different function,
Exactly.
a different expression. And I'm yet to see, I have not seen any entity that refused it. They want it.
Right.
Because you show them their own light.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone wants that light. Everyone wants the love. No one, I don't believe, in the core of my being, I don't believe that anyone is really, truly, deeply bad to the core. They're bad because they're in pain. They're bad because they need something, or it's their nature to be that way.
Mm-hmm.
So how can we utilize that nature
Right.
to turn that and polarize that into the positive?
Right. And didn't some of us incarnate and sign up choosing to be perhaps a darker character this time so that others could have that polarization, that reflection? So yeah.
Learn through contrast. Yeah, that happens.
Hey baby.
Yeah.
All right. so then what I want to ask is, this is interesting. Can you clear entities on your own? Because I think a lot of people probably have different opinions on this.
Everyone wants to know that.
Right?
For sure. Well, from my present point of ignorance, right here.
I love that. That's how I constantly feel. From my present point of ignorance, this is Hard on Radio.
I don't know. I'm learning.
Okay.
I'm learning this. What the higher self showed me is my own device that is connected to my higher self.
Okay.
That is kind of like a scanner machine. Looks kind of like a CAT scan machine,
Okay.
you know. And so every night, first of all, every night before we sleep, it is recommended through every energetic practice, Reiki, everything, to clear your cords first. Secondary, I do the scan on myself with my machine. I don't know if I think that everyone needs to figure that out and see if there is a device or a way or approach that they can take, that they can check themselves. You know, you can check if you are in balance. This feels right, this feels good, there's no pain here, this feels balanced, this feels all right, oh, I'm a little off here, what's going on here, let's take a look. You know, what's energetically, what can I do to raise the frequency into the space. Meditation really helps me too, because when I meditate, I can really see my own state of being. I can see what's inside my mind, what I'm fixating on, what I'm thinking about, what hooks might have gone in because I'm too focused on something. And so that's something to track and be like, you know what, I'm too fixated on this might be an entry point or something. And then, but the main thing is to keep in your inner state in balance, out of loneliness, finding the connection that gives you that state of fulfillment in every way.
Okay, and I love that, because first of all, that's like 101 energy bathing, because that will help you not even be susceptible to begin with. And then I just want to throw in there, 'cause in my experience, dream time I've really done, and the reason that I bring this up is almost a point of evidence in my own personal life, is because the results that I had in my life right after just what might seem like a random dream and where I would confront these energies, these beings, and they looked like all different forms in my dream. I'd even hear them. One, it was really creepy, where I was like waking up and I heard my name, like Shauna, like this really okay. And so I would have dream times where I would confront these things, and the next day I would feel a release of some kind, something would let go. And then in general, as the weeks went on, if I kept my energy high and clear and clean and under control, I just felt a higher balance in my energy in general. So
and you know how you feel.
Yes.
You know that if you woke up and you feel inspired and excited and full of joy, or neutral, balanced, sweet, just floating through your day, you're good. If you woke up and you're in that state, there's something happened there. And in that case, you can either do your own scan and see what's up and work with it. I know some people teach how to do entity removal on yourself. I'm not familiar with that yet, other than what I just shared. But when you are off that way, well, go ahead and reach out to a professional. I mean, the people who actually do that. And there are people who do this kind of like quick scan and take out whatever you just picked up. It was minor thing.
Right.
For the session would take like 20 minutes, and it's really quick, you know, unless you need like this major work like I do. That, and then there was something really good you were just saying, which I forgot.
Dream time?
Dream time, yes, the dream time. Thank you.
Yeah.
Meditation, actually. When I was just first learning, I would see different beings in my meditations. They would literally like be there looking at me, you know. And I know that it's not in my field yet, but it's looking at me. And at the beginning, I would feel scared. And when you feel scared, you invite them in.
You're putting the moat down to your castle.
Yeah. But then it was at the very beginning when I first moved to Sedona, and I didn't know, so it was like 6 years ago, I didn't know what to do. So I went to asking people who do this kind of work. I was like, oh my God, there's this thing, it's looking at me every night. What do I do? And they said, the main thing is to not fear it. You're stronger, you're in physical body, in physical form, do not invite the fear. And so when I continued seeing them, I would just say, I see you, I acknowledge you, but I'm not open to interact with you, go away. And literally within like a week after I started doing that, all of that stopped and never returned since.
Wow. Yeah.
You know, so.
Exactly. We are the creator beings, so we can choose, pick and choose. And I think even that, just imagination mixed with your intention is like our lightsaber in a way, you know what I mean? So just inviting them to please leave, you know, bless you, I love you, you know, but please be on your way.
Or perhaps at this time of my life, I would perhaps offer them a different job.
Hey.
And say, hey, you know what? What are you looking at? I'd be like, what are you looking at? Why are you staring here? Why are you hanging around my field? They don't anymore because my frequency is so out there, you know.
Yeah.
I don't get that. But if that happens, let's say, right? I'll be like, what are you looking at? I can see you, acknowledge you. What can we do here? Can we offer you a different opportunity to better express yourself rather than following my butt around here every night, you know?
Oh, I love that. Okay, fabulous. I'm gonna switch gears a little, and I'm going to do our card pull, and I chose the Syrian Starseed Tarot deck.
Nice.
Isn't that gorgeous?
There we go.
Would you just give us a shout out of the artist there?
Yeah, Starseed.
I think it's
Patricia Corey
and
Alisa
Bartha. Beautiful. Such a beautiful. This is a huge deck. So give me a second to shuffle.
Like a deck on a spacecraft.
Clear it. Yeah. I love blowing on them. I just feel the difference when I blow on them. Okay. So
I love that design on the outside. Let's show that.
Yeah.
Take a look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Look at that.
That reminds me a lot of your logo.
Right,
Yeah,
yes.
on your-
And my logo,
yes.
by the way, gets a lot of comments, and I found out that it actually, I thought it was a homing device. Someone told me that, that telescopes out of your forehead is a homing device. Oh, okay, so I drew it, and now it's my logo, but recently I found out that it actually belongs to a higher dimensional advanced civilization race.
Oh, wow.
Lycerian. They said it's a Lycerian homing device. I had no idea. Well, it's my logo now, and I love it. Well, everybody knows it.
All right. So here's what I got. Abundance.
All right.
Oh my gosh, and the abundance.
Abundance of joy.
Matches she's got the same symbol behind her.
Abundance.
Ooh. And I always like to mention the dance in abundance.
Right. Oh, that's right. The dance in abundance.
The dance in abundance. Okay. So let's see what they have to say
Show this
about
here.
this is pulling cards in real time. Thank you for being my little assistant here. Why is this not alphabetized?
Number 3. We go. Number 3. Abundance 3.
There we go. Okay. So let's see. Abundance speaks of forever oceans of countless worlds, the source of all life.
There we go.
The primordial mound of innumerable creation myths rises from the void, and the cosmic sea of life energies in all its diversity and beauty. Oh gosh, I love that. All in perpetual harmony with the divine wisdom of creation.
There we go. Do we have any questions?
Exactly. Oh my gosh, I love that. Don't you love when that happens? It's like, no matter
in abundance, you would think like, you'll buy another car. You know, but no, it's like abundance of life forms that we were just talking about this whole time, and everything working within perfect balance with itself.
Yes.
And we as human beings, it's time for us to be a part of that balance, not be the scared little child with a sword trying to kill everything around that scares them, but to actually step into that abundance, understanding of balance of life. And yes, okay, they're now living in your body, but we will remove them and we'll elevate them, and it will elevate you. So everything works in balance.
Exactly. That's so beautiful. We couldn't end on a better note. I know that's so perfect. Isa, where can people find you? What's coming up next for you that you might want to talk about? I mean, I've had the pleasure of having a session with you, and it's just unbelievable. What you do is not even what you do, it's what you do up there, you know. You don't even take the credit, but I mean, it's what you have working, and your service to the planet is just unbelievable. So where can people find you?
People can find me at isabellagreene.com. Very simple. Easy. My name, first name, last name.
And that's Green with an E on the end.
Yes.
Okay.
And if you'd like to have a session with me, you can reach me at that website and just send me a session request form. I am booked. So it might take me a little time to get back to you. We'll schedule an interview, a pre-session introductory call, which is really an interview to see what you're going through and what it is that you require, how I can help you. Mm-hmm. The services are personalized as it gets. I often spend up to 6 hours on each person. But you would only pay for the time that we actually interact and spend together. So, and the sessions, they're getting more and more amazing. I am fully in my mission. I feel really strong and empowered. So it's a beautiful flow. Mm-hmm. The highest self told me that my mission was to remember my own empowered state of being, and then to help others to remember theirs. So there we have it.
Absolutely. You're such a way shower and a light. Thank you so much, Isabella, for spending your time with us. Follow her on Facebook, on YouTube. I highly recommend it. Everything that she does is just going to help empower you and shed light on some of these areas. So thank you again. And thank you all so much for watching and tuning in to Heart on Radio. Is your heart on?
We'll see you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Take care.
Take care.
Namaste.